Welcome to Light Warrior Radio, where our mission is to empower sensitive souls to harness their superpowers and shine their light, so together we can co-create heaven on earth. I'm your host, Dr. 𝗟𝗡𝗟𝗣𝗙, author of the #1 best-selling book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower, and founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the 𝗟𝗚𝗡𝗟𝗡 Healing Method. Thank you for joining me. There seems to be a lot of confusion around what the difference is between discernment and judgment. Because, sometimes the things that we choose, whether it works for us or doesn't work for us, can be seen by others as a judgment. Like you're judging that, this movie isn't good and therefore you don't want to watch it, right? So I'm not talking so much about how other people perceive things, but more how we perceive things and how we make decisions. We're probably making judgments all the time. But, when I'm talking about discernment versus judgment, we're talking about a bigger difference. Like, let me simplify it, okay? So the kind of judgment that generally does not work, especially in relationship with others, is a good-bad. The judgment of good-bad. Okay? So you're a good person, you're a bad person. You did a good thing, you did a bad thing. This government is good, this government is bad. Things like that. So the good-bad, those types of judgments in general, are ones that don't further our mission or further our light warrior sense of, the beauty of the ideal world we're creating together. Judgment, think about it. If I say, this movie is good, or this movie is bad, do you have actually any idea of how you would feel watching this movie? Not really, right? You're like, okay, so you think it's bad. Does that mean I shouldn't watch it because it's bad? Now, if that other person is very, very much like you could get away with saying, well, it's kind of bad, so don't bother watching it, right? And they go, oh, okay, and they don't watch it. But I've had the opposite where people go, and of course they're different from me, but they're like, oh my gosh, you've got to watch this movie. It's so good, right? And I'm like, what movie's that? They're like, Pretty Woman. I'm like, oh, okay. And a whole bunch of women tell me how great it is. You got to watch this movie, Pretty Woman. Now, I know I'm dating myself because it's a pretty old movie. So I'm like, okay, all right, great. So I finally watched the movie, right? And I'm like, I come out of the movie going, seriously? I didn't like it at all. Because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this. And they're like, really? You didn't like this movie? I'm like, no. I felt it was really disempowering. But you see what I mean? We can have judgments, and we can share those judgments, and especially when they're good, bad kind of judgments, they may not be that helpful. Now, discernment, on the other hand, isn't really about good, bad, per se. Discernment, when we are discerning, okay, it's more about, does this work or does this not work for me? It's very, very different. Does this work or not work for me? So an obvious, kind of example would be, somebody asks you to go on a picnic with a, group of people, right? And you think about it, and you go, let's see. Well, I guess we're all sharing food. Okay, do I want to sit there on a blanket in black fly season in the middle of June, sharing food with a bunch of people? Oh, wow. Some sort of festival's going on. It's going to be super busy in town. It's going to be a lot of people, right? And you're imagining yourself in that scenario, and you think, not so much. So in this case, you're not judging per se, like, the picnic's bad, or going to the picnic is bad or good. You're actually like weighing options and going, is this going to work for me, or is this not going to work for me, based on how I like to how I like to have a good time, how I like to rest, how I like to be around people or not be around people, right? So that is more discernment, because I'm looking at all these factors and deciding, well, I'm going to say no, because first of all, black flies love me, right? And not really big on going to that particular park where there's probably super crowded and really a lot of noise, and I don't really like picnic food. So, right? So that might change if the same people go, hey, let's have a picnic down by 𝗟𝗡𝗟𝗣𝗙 Bay Beach. So now I'm like, oh, look at the weather. Oh, it's going to be nice out. Oh, well, it's great in July. There's not a lot of black flies out there. And, well, this isn't a busy weekend. This is, it's probably going to be a lot more quiet. So it'll be really nice, just a few of us there. Then similar kinds of situation, I'm discerning that I really think this is going to work for me. I'm not working that weekend, the weather's going to be great, we all love the same food, organic, blah, 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 that we love to share, right? Have a good time. I like these people. So that is not being judgmental. That's being discerning. So I think a lot of times we go to extremes in terms of our spirituality, and we don't want to judge anything, because we think that if we do any sort of judgment, that means we're not spiritual. We're not spiritual enough. Okay, I'm going to give an extreme example here, and this might trigger some people, so just be aware, okay? Just optimize your boundaries as I give this example. Okay. So, Satanism. So, some people will be like, well, obviously that's bad, right? I'm like, well, given our current thoughts about it or assumptions about it, probably, if it's, I didn't read the book, right? So I don't know anything about it. Sounds like it would be bad. But how is that different from discernment? Okay. Well, maybe somebody says, well, I'm very spiritual, I'm highly spiritual, and I don't think we should judge anyone. So, I think that the Christians versus the Hindus versus the Satanists, they all should have fair play. They all should be able to exist, and, being very non-judgmental about that. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's, that is something that people believe. And yet there's some people out there who are highly spiritual who go, okay, no. And I'm not saying I'm, necessarily in that camp, okay, but they're like, no. No, maybe they're like, hey, I've researched it, I've seen, like what they believe in, and I've read the blah, blah, blah book, and, they believe in, and I'm just making this stuff up, okay, guys, because I don't know anything about Satanism, but, maybe, perhaps, okay, just imagine, maybe they believe in blood sacrifice, or maybe they believe in hurting children, or, I don't know what it is, right? And then we can go, well, that's bad. Well, why is it bad? Well, it's bad based on relative to our thoughts about what we would like to create in the world, which is more peace, more harmony, right? Equality for all, and prosperity, abundance, and, the joy of life for all. So this is not in alignment with our goals. It's not in alignment with our values, and therefore we judge it as bad. But the other person who is a Satanist might go, well, no, you guys are totally off your rocker. Of course this is good because we're saving the planet, because we're doing this and that, and, we're enjoying ourselves, and, we're this human being, we're supposed to enjoy hedonistic things. What, I don't know. I don't know what the argument could be, okay, because I'm not a Satanist, so I don't know. But the point is that from their point of view, it's good. So, okay, so we can judge them as bad, or we can go, well, based on their beliefs, they believe it's quote-unquote good. Based on my core beliefs, I'm believing it's quote-unquote bad. But at the end of the day, it really is about that discernment of, does it work? Now, perhaps based on their paradigm, it works for them, right? Based on my paradigm, my core beliefs, if something is purposely harming children, or, sacrificing animals for no reason, or, whatever, okay, it doesn't work to me, like, based on my beliefs and my core values and my mission, in this particular lifetime. But there's a difference energetically, okay? I want you to see if you can feel this difference of, okay, I want you to close your eyes. If it's safe for you to do so, close your eyes. And I want you to say out loud, if you are, alone, this is good. This is bad. Okay, use that energy. This is good. This is bad. Okay, feel it in the body. One more time. This is good. This is bad. All right, now let's switch over to discernment. Okay, feel in your body. Say this out loud. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. Can you feel the difference energetically in your body? I'd love to hear your results if you want to share. So for me personally, when I say this is good, this is bad, the energy comes to a stop, a full stop. It does not go anywhere else. It's end of story. It is a finale. It is a period. When I say this works for me, this doesn't work for me, there's a flow. The flow meaning that I am open to it possibly working for someone else, but it doesn't work for me. When I say it's good or bad, I've labeled it something and put it on the shelf. This is good, this is bad, and I've compartmentalized it such that there is no possibility that it could be anything other than those categories. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's kind of sort of how I see the difference between discernment, which I do prefer, which I do feel like we could have more of, I suppose, in our society, versus judgment. There's plenty of judgments on Facebook, right? Or memes or whatever. It just makes people look bad, makes them look stupid, whatever. Like, these people are stupid, or these people are good, or so-and-so's going to save the world, or whatever, right? It comes to a full stop. And to me, in my body, it's not in flow. It doesn't feel in flow. However, discernment, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. If it works for someone else, okay, right? Who am I to say it doesn't work for you, right? There is a flow. There's an openness, and there is none of that full stop energy. Now remember, Light Warrior embraces self-mastery and self-discovery and self-empowerment, so we can illuminate our shadows to inspire peace, purpose, and passion. So I'd love to know how this episode lands for you. Yeah, so if you like this episode, resonates with you, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, if there is a comment section below this. And yeah, let's stay connected. Join me, other sensitive souls, in the Light Medicine community on Circle. It's a safe and sacred space where we can come together to love and support one another. You'll find the link in the show notes, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, see you next time.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you resonate with this message, please hit like and subscribe and perhaps share it with someone who's like-minded, who you think might benefit. And in the meantime, I would love for you to connect with me in my private light medicine community. It's free to join and it's for sensitive souls who desire to love and support each other. So I'll put the link below as well as other exciting offerings for this week. Much love. Thanks for watching.